"We don't cry if you let us eat," the littlest said. The cowboy thought he knew hunger until then. The cowboy's horse pulled up short when he saw her. A little girl, maybe 6, pressed against a general store window, like she was trying to push through the glass. Her small fingers scraped at the frost covering the pane, and she put each tiny ice crystal in her mouth. "Hey there, little one." She turned, hollow cheeks, eyes too big for her face. The kind of hungry that makes a person look like they're already half gone. "Mister, we don't cry if you let us eat." "What did you say?" "That's what Mama told us," before she went quiet. 2 more shapes moved in the shadows between the buildings. A boy, maybe 10. Another girl, 8 or so, both watching him like wild animals deciding whether to run. "Come here," the cowboy said. "Both of you." They didn't move. "We're not supposed to talk to strangers," the oldest boy said. "Your sister's eating window frost. I'd say you're past worrying about strangers." The little girl kept scraping, kept eating ice. The cowboy dismounted, slow and careful. His boots hit the packed dirt with soft thuds. "When's the last time you ate real food?" 3 days, the middle girl whispered. 4, said the boy. "Maybe 5. The cowboy looked at the general store. Boards nailed across the door. A sign hanging crooked. Closed by order of sheriff's department. "Store's been shut down long?" "Since Mama married Deputy Ray." The little one said, still facing the window. "Sheriff Harding said we weren't welcome nowhere anymore." "Deputy Ray. That's Sheriff Harding's boy." "Yes, sir," the oldest boy said. "And now Mama's gone quiet and Daddy's in the county lockup for stealing, except he never stole nothing." The cowboy studied the boarded windows, the empty street. Not another soul in sight, but he could feel eyes watching from behind curtains. "Where's your mama now?" The children looked at each other. Some kind of silent conversation passed between them. "She went quiet after she fought back," the middle girl said. "Fought back against what?" "Deputy Ray liked to use his hands when he got mad," the boy said. "Mama got tired of it." The little girl finally turned away from the window. Her thin hand reached into her pocket and pulled out a gold ring, too big for her finger now. She held it up to catch the weak sunlight. This was Mama's, from when she married Deputy Ray. "Look." She slipped it onto her finger, and it fell right off. It used to fit tight. The cowboy took the ring, turned it over in his palm. Expensive. The kind of ring a man buys when he wants to own something. "She told us to keep it safe," the girl said. "Said it was proof of something, but I don't remember what." Footsteps on the wooden sidewalk. The cowboy looked up to see a woman approaching, Asian features, worn dress, carrying a basket. She walked fast, like she was afraid to be seen stopping. "Mrs. Chun," the middle girl called out. The woman looked around nervously, then hurried over. She pulled bread from her basket, broke it into 3 pieces. "Eat quick," she said to the children, "before anyone sees." "Ma'am," the cowboy said, tipping his hat. "You're new," Mrs. Chen said. It wasn't a question. Just passing through, then keep passing. This town's got a sickness, and it spreads. The children devoured the bread in seconds. The little girl licked her fingers clean. "What kind of sickness?" Mrs. Chen glanced toward the sheriff's office at the end of the street. "The kind where some people get to eat and others don't. The kind where asking questions gets your store closed down and your husband thrown in jail for imaginary crimes." "Like their daddy?" "Like a lot of daddies. A lot of mamas, too." She looked at the children with eyes full of sadness. "These 3 been on their own since their mama disappeared 2 weeks ago." "Disappeared?" "Went quiet," the little girl said again, like explained everything. Mrs. Chen's face went pale. "Child, you can't keep saying that." "But it's true." She went quiet after the shouting stopped. The woman grabbed her empty basket, backed away from them. "I can't. I'm sorry. I can't help any more." She hurried off, glancing back once with fear written across her face. The cowboy looked down at the 3 children. The boy stood protective in front of his sisters. The middle girl had crumbs on her chin. The little one had gone back to scraping frost from the window. "We don't cry if you let us eat," she said again, softer this time. Your mama really say that? Right before she went quiet. She said crying don't fill bellies, but eating does. She said if someone good ever came along, we should tell them that. Show them we're grateful. The cowboy felt something twist in his chest. He'd seen hungry children before, but never ones who'd been taught not to cry about it. Where did your mama go quiet? The children looked at each other again. That same silent conversation. You really want to know? The boy asked. I really want to know. Then we got to show you, the little girl said. Can't tell it right. Got to show you where the ground remembers. She took his hand with her small, cold fingers. The ring fell from her other hand into the dirt, and the cowboy picked it up, slipped it into his pocket. Come on then, he said. Show me. The three children began walking toward the edge of town, toward whatever waited in the places where the ground remembers things people won't forget. The children led him down a dirt path that wound past dead cornfields and broken fences. The little girl still held his hand. Her grip was cold but steady. How far? The cowboy asked. Just past a big oak, the boy said, where our house used to feel safe. They walked in silence for a few minutes. The only sounds were their footsteps and the wind pushing through dry grass. The cowboy could feel something waiting ahead of them, something that made his horse nervous. The homestead came into view around a bend, a small house with shutters hanging loose, a barn with half its roof caved in, and in the yard, a stone well with a wooden bucket sitting beside it. There, the little girl said, pointing at the well. That's where Mama went quiet. The cowboy felt ice in his stomach. What do you mean? Show him. The middle girl whispered to her brother. The boy walked to the well, picked up the bucket, lowered it down on its rope. The sound echoed in the darkness below. When he pulled it up, the water was black. Taste it, the little girl said. I don't think that's a good idea. You got to taste it. That's how you know what the ground remembers. The cowboy took the bucket, brought it to his nose. The smell hit him like a punch. Sweet and rotten. Death. He set the bucket down fast. When did this happen? 2 weeks ago, the boy said, after Mama fought back real hard. Deputy Ray came home angrier than we'd ever seen him. Started throwing things, breaking things. She told us to run, the middle girl said. Told us to hide in the barn. We heard the shouting, the little girl added. Then it got real quiet. When we came back, Deputy Ray was gone and Mama was down there. The cowboy stared into the well. Black water stared back. Did you try to get her out? Boy tried, the middle girl said, but she was too heavy, and the water was already going bad. Why didn't you tell someone? Tell who? The boy asked. Deputy Ray? Sheriff Harding? They're the ones who put her down there. Hoofbeats on the dirt road. The cowboy turned to see a rider approaching fast. Young man in a deputy's uniform, silver badge catching the sun. He had mean eyes and hands that looked like they'd been used for hitting. Well, the deputy called out as he dismounted. Look what we got here. Bunch of trespassers on private property. Deputy Ray, the little girl whispered. That's right, sweetheart. Daddy's home. His smile was all teeth and no warmth. And I see you brought a friend. These children are hungry, the cowboy said. These children are liars. And you're interfering with family business. Family business? Deputy Ray walked closer. His hand rested on his gun. Their mama ran off, left them behind. Happens all the time with women like her. Can't handle the responsibility of marriage. She didn't run off, the boy said. You killed her. Boy, you better watch that mouth of yours. Or what? You'll throw us down the well, too. Deputy Ray's face went red. You little bastard's been telling stories again. The cowboy stepped between the deputy and the children. Maybe we should all calm down. Maybe you should mind your own business and ride on out of here before something bad happens to you, too. The little girl tugged on the cowboy's coat. When he looked down, she mouthed the words, Make him drink it. The cowboy understood. He picked up the bucket of black water, held it out to Deputy Ray. You look thirsty. Have some water from the family well. I ain't drinking that. Why not? It's your well, isn't it? Your property. That water's gone bad. How do you know that? Deputy Ray's hand moved to his gun. I said I ain't drinking it. Drink it, the cowboy said, his voice quiet and deadly. Drink what you made. You're crazy. Am I? Or are you afraid of what you'll taste? The deputy drew his gun, but the cowboy was faster. His own pistol was out and pointed before Ray could clear leather. Put it down, the cowboy said. You don't know what you're messing with, stranger. My daddy runs this county. He'll hunt you down. Maybe, but first you're going to drink from that well. I won't. Then I guess we'll have to go have a talk with your daddy. Bring him out here. Show him what's in his son's well. Deputy Ray's face went white. You can't do that. Watch me. The cowboy kept his gun trained on the deputy while he walked to his horse. The children followed, staying close. Where are you going? Ray called out. To have a conversation with Sheriff Harding. About hunger. About control. About what happens to women who fight back. He won't believe you. The cowboy helped the little girl up onto his horse, then the other two. Maybe not, but he'll believe that water. And he'll believe his own nose when he smells what his boy's been hiding. Deputy Ray stood by the well, gun hanging loose in his hand, watching them ride away. He'll come after us, the boy said. Let him come. He'll bring his daddy. Good. Time I met the man who decides who gets to eat in this county. The little girl pressed against his back as they rode toward town. Mister? Yes. We still don't cry if you let us eat. I know, sweetheart. I know. The sheriff's house sat at the end of Main Street, like a fat spider in its web. Big white house with columns and a wide porch. The kind of house that said, I own everything you can see. They were going to pay Sheriff Harding a visit, all of them together. Time to show the sheriff what real hunger looked like. The sheriff's front door stood wide open. Like the house was waiting for them. The cowboy dismounted, helped the children down from his horse. Their bare feet made no sound on the wooden porch. He knows we're coming, the boy whispered. Good, the cowboy said. Let him know. They walked through the front hall. Family portraits on the walls. 3 generations of Hardings in sheriff uniforms. All with the same cold eyes. The same cruel mouth. The kitchen was at the back of the house. Huge room with a long table and cabinets that reached the ceiling. And sitting at the head of the table was Sheriff Harding himself. Old man with silver hair and a badge that caught the lamplight. Come in, he said without looking up from his newspaper. I've been expecting you. The cowboy pushed the children behind him. His hand stayed near his gun. Expected us? My boy Ray rode back to town. Told me some stranger was filling these children's heads with stories about their dear departed mother. Stories. Sheriff Harding finally looked up. His eyes were like chips of ice. Fairy tales. About wells and bodies and such nonsense. The little girl stepped out from behind the cowboy. It's not nonsense. We saw Mama down there. Child, your mama ran off with a traveling salesman 2 weeks ago. Left you behind. Some women just ain't cut out for motherhood. You're lying. Watch your tongue, girl. The cowboy walked to the pantry, pulled open the doors. Shelves packed with food. Canned goods. Dried meat. Flour and sugar and coffee. Enough to feed a dozen families. Look at all this food, he said to the children, while you've been eating frost. That food ain't for them, the sheriff said. Why not? Because they ain't earned it. The cowboy started pulling things off the shelves. Bread, jam, dried apples. He set them on the table in front of the children. Eat, he told them. We can't, the middle girl whispered. Why not? We're not supposed to. Says who? The little girl looked at the sheriff, then back at the cowboy. We don't cry if you let us eat, but we're not supposed to take what ain't ours. This food belongs to everyone in this county. The sheriff here just forgot to share. Sheriff Harding stood up slow. His hand moved to his gun. You got no right to come into my house and steal my provisions. Your provisions? Or the food you took from every family you drove out of town? I don't know what you're talking about. The cowboy kept piling food on the table. The Chun family. The Washingtons. The Garcias. Where did they all go, Sheriff? They moved on. People move on all the time. Or maybe they went quiet, like the children's mother. Harding's face went red. Their mother was a whore who couldn't keep her mouth shut. The boy lunged forward, but the cowboy caught him. Easy, son. She wasn't a whore. She was good. She just didn't like getting hit. She should have learned to mind her place. The cowboy's gun was out faster than lightning, pointed right at the sheriff's heart. Sit down. Watch them eat. You can't make me. I can put a hole in you and then watch them eat. Your choice. Sheriff Harding sat down hard. The cowboy turned to the children. Go ahead. All of you. Eat whatever you want. The little girl reached for the bread with shaking hands. She tore off a piece, put it in her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. Why are you crying? The sheriff asked. Thought you didn't cry if people let you eat. These are happy tears, she said. I forgot what happy tears felt like. The other two children joined her, eating slowly at first, then faster, like they were afraid the food might disappear. Stop them, the sheriff said to Cowboy. They'll make themselves sick. Maybe they'll finally get full. The boy bit into an apple, juice running down his chin. The middle girl spread jam on bread with her fingers. The little girl ate dried fruit like it was candy. You got no idea what you've done, Harding said. What this will cost. Cost who? Everyone. The whole county depends on order, on people knowing their place. Their place at the bottom of a well, their place in the natural order things. The cowboy walked closer to the sheriff, gun still pointed at his chest. And what's your place in this natural order? I keep the peace. I maintain control. By starving children? By making sure the weak don't breed more weakness. The little girl looked up from her food. Her face was smeared with jam, but her eyes were clear and bright for the first time. Mr. Sheriff, she said, we ain't weak. We just been hungry. There's a difference. Sheriff Harding stared at her, like she was speaking a foreign language. The cowboy reached into his pocket, pulled out the mother's wedding ring, set it on the table in front of Harding. This ring will fit her finger again. She'll grow into it. That ring belongs to my family now. No, it belongs to her. And when she's grown, she'll remember who tried to starve her and who fed her. The children kept eating, laughing now between bites, sharing food back and forth. The sound of their laughter filled the big kitchen like music. Sheriff Harding looked around his empty house. All that food, all that power, all that control. And in the end, 3 hungry children had beaten him just by eating without crying. They'll remember this day, the cowboy said. They'll remember who was kind and who was cruel. And someday, when they're older, they'll make sure it never happens again. The little girl picked up her mother's ring, slipped it onto her thumb where it fit snug. She smiled at the cowboy with a mouth full of bread and hope. Thank you, mister, for letting us eat without being afraid. Outside, the sun was setting over the county, but in the sheriff's kitchen, 3 children were finally full, finally safe, finally free to laugh without fear. And that was worth everything.